This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com. The only place to be in your pop culture world.
PTB Wrestling Network family, welcome to this abbreviated visit to all things current and classic wrestling, Place to Be Nation's main event. We are going to call this main event, even though we're not really talking current wrestling, because we're going to save that for next week's show. Because next week's show is our annual smorgasbord that this guy is in love with. He is the conscience of Place to Be Nation. Good evening to you, Steve Aloysius Willie.
Well, I'm going to talk really fast this entire time because we have a lot to get to tonight on this episode of we have 17 matches. Over 1,000 people have been turned away from listening to this show.
Stephen Aloysius. So, as of course we're talking next Friday. Next Friday. As a matter of fact, since we're recording, maybe I'll drop it on Thursday. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah, maybe next week it'll drop on Thursday. Gives an extra day. So next week, it'll be Thursday, folks, that you will see next week's episode of the main event, because we all know what time of year it is. It is our Mega Mania special. What is this, Steve? Like 7th annual, 8th annual? When did we start doing this?
Oh, God, I'm terrible with that.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we started doing it right at the beginning because we didn't find that site that had all the indie shows till
right.
5-6 years ago, probably.
18, I was at a lot of those shows, so I don't think we did the preview. So maybe
no, you were
19.
away. 19, we probably did it because I went to 19, but WrestleMania 35 was only over here. I didn't have to fly anywhere.
Right.
So probably like 2000. So this is probably 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. This would be the 8th one we've done.
Wow.
The Mega Mania special. Of course, that means that myself, Steve, and of course, the Boogie of the Bayou, Andrew Reich, who's not with us tonight. He's battling a terrible migraine. And do we know how both of that feel? Do we know how both of us feel about that? That's what I meant to say. So I'm garbling my words. But he'll be with us next week, as of course we will go through everything going on in Vegas next weekend, all the indie shows, and of course we will preview. Well, we don't have to preview Stand and Deliver because that happened on Saturday. All the indie shows. We'll take a look at what the Hall of Fame class looks like, and then we will preview WrestleMania 42 as the 2 days are set. Sunday looks awesome, and Saturday looks shitty. So
I haven't really closely looked at it. I mean, it's just funny the way you said it.
Yeah,
and then Sunday looks shitty.
Yeah, Saturday, other than Cody and Orton, which we all know now is just a convoluted shit show. Thanks, Ari, and your stupid sushi.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that sucks. We'll get into that next week.
That would be something to get through.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that next week. But Sunday's great. Sunday, of course, has Roman and Punk, and we got a lot of the other matches are really good. There's a couple of decent matches on Saturday, but overall Sunday's better. In any event, we'll deal with that next. We'll talk about that next week, and we'll preview all the big indie shows, Janela's 5 a.m. brunch, and of course Effie's gay brunch, and all the other fun stuff that we do for that show that Steve gets excited about. My God, what do you think it starts, Steve? It usually starts like Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Right?
I wish I had Triller, but it's just not worth it. We'll go through it. And
we'll go through it.
I did have a little FOMO earlier this year when some of the stuff started coming up, but now I'm feeling okay.
Yeah. I'm surprised that I'm waiting for the RKO Gestapo to start kicking doors in the indie shows and saying, "Excuse me, this week belongs to us." and start beating the shit out of like guys that are making $14 that night or whatever. Who knows? I don't want to get into any of that shit. But anyway, we'll get into that.
That's what TNA is doing. We could talk about that next week too, if we have time. TNA has just pulled all of their wrestlers just in the last day or two from every indie show that anybody associated with AEW in any way, because that Carlos Silva got his butt hurt that Collision was aired on Thursday this past week against Impact. Even though that wasn't AEW's decision, that was because of the college tournament, and that was because it was a Warner Brothers decision.
Huh.
So MJF was supposed to go against Nick Nemeth. They had this whole thing going. That got pulled. There was a Leon Slater match against Ricochet over Mania weekend.
Wow. And he's the X Division, right? Isn't he the X Division champion?
Yeah, I think so.
Leon Slater? Yeah.
Yeah. It was kind of like supposed to be like a dream match. And then there was there was another one. It wasn't even Moose was pulled from the Maple Leaf show in Canada because of it, because he's butthurt that Warner moved Collision.
And that's that's these indie shows' fault?
That's that's the so basically the indie promotions and the TNA workers, because it's not like all those guys are making $1 million.
No,
they're losing paychecks.
Yeah, that's kind of silly. Anyway, we'll get into that. Yeah, we'll get into that next week, but that's crazy. And no, TKO is not canceling it. I was being funny.
I know you were. That's what I'm saying.
No, I know you.
Yeah,
no. I know you.
Funny,
I know you knew I was being funny, but I don't want people thinking, "Oh my god,
TNA is not being funny."
A Rock is kicking doors in, and no, he's not. It's Rock Nick and Ari while they're eating California rolls. Yeah. Anyway, tonight we are strictly doing an archive because it's been a long time since we've done an archive, and we want to move it along. We want to get through the timelines of both classic TNA and classic AEW. And this show tonight, we're finally getting to, after months of doing weeks of doing other stuff, we're finally getting to it. Boogie just couldn't. He couldn't handle it tonight. And I don't blame him. We both know how migraines are. So Boogie, feel better. He will definitely be with us next week. So we are going tonight to April 30th, 2003 for episode 43 of NWA-TNA. And of course, finally, after weeks of up and down build, we're finally going to get to the much anticipated NWA World Heavyweight Championship match between the champion, Jeff Jarrett, and the challenger, Raven. It is April 30th. It is in the fairgrounds. Your champions coming into tonight, the world champion, as I mentioned, is Jeff Jarrett. Your X Division champion is Kid Kash, and he does defend the title tonight. And the tag team champions are Amazing Red and Jerry Lynn. So Steve, set the table for us.
Yeah, so a little bit of a different intro today with Jarrett walking in to the building shown earlier tonight and then right to the theme music. Pretty much the last couple months of episodes have led off with like one of those really dark recap videos. We'll see some later, but more just strictly for the main event. And then they went right into a match, a 4-way tag team match between the Team Extreme, or what else do they call them? They call them something else later on.
Yeah,
Extreme.
Nerdy's got some snarky thing about them, but yeah, I know.
Yeah, so that team is Just Incredible and Perry Saturn, and America's Most Wanted, who are back together with kind of little explanation. They just kind of gave each other, "Hey, let's get back together." The Disciples of the New Church, which of course Brian Lee and Slash, and the Harris Brothers. Ugh. So definitely they're working on building more teams, more stables.
Yep.
Yeah, and so right in the action, it was hard to call because you had all 8 guys going in and out of the ring, and that ring is small, and these are a lot of big boys.
Yeah, not X Division guys.
Yeah,
a lot of hosses.
Just incredible. Like when Perry Saturn's probably the second smallest in the ring.
I know. That's crazy. Yeah, I agree.
And he's gaspy, I believe. So, yeah, he was suplexing everyone at the beginning. Eventually went back to Church and AMW, staring off because they had a feud since pretty much the first episode. One of the better moves was Slash going for his whirly bird, and Harris just came in and speared him. Credible's bleeding, but who knows why. really felt like the face heel dynamic was off because, like last episode, Team Extreme joined with Raven. Like the Disciples, are they bad? Are they good? Harris are definitely bad. So AMW really the only faces here. Storm eventually came in as a hot tag and started just taking out everyone else who was just kind of feeding one by one. H-Bomb got broken up. Heart Attack got broken up from AMW. Ref was pulled out on a pin attempt, which will happen later on as well, I believe. And then they just kind of waited around forever to figure out what happens next. The Harris brothers eventually just kicked the members of AMW together, and then Saturn snuck in and hit a Death Valley driver for the win. It was a lot of chaos. There's a lot of big men all around the ring, clumsily moving around. It was good to see AMW back together again.
I agree. That's one of my teams. I love those guys. But yeah, it was really starting to get. It was time now to start just establishing things in this company instead of just the sex guys and the extreme guys having shitty promos backstage and us having throwaway matches. It was time to start really focusing on stuff after this feud is over. And I felt like the tag division was one of the things that kind of got forgotten. So this was as much as the teams are not, the greatest, at least it's something. It's better than nothing. And AMW is clearly the most talented team in this bunch. The rest of these guys are a bunch of sloppy hosses. And I definitely think that I don't know if I was in love with Saturn and Credible getting the win. I don't know if there's my only problem. Like, did they win strictly to push that storyline, or do they really think these guys are like credible future tag team champions? I certainly don't.
Yeah, but TNA has always had. Well, WWE has pretty much every single wrestling promotion, as now that I think about it, has always had a thing for ECW, right? Right. But TNA especially has brought them back in so many incarnations, and this is just the first one where the whole stable with Raven is basically just like half of ECW's brawlers.
Right. Yeah, it is crazy. And the match itself was fine. I just was not thrilled with the result. I fully expected AMW to win that match. I don't know why they didn't, but
especially since they're just getting back together on the they bonked into each other at the end, but it was back to back, so they wouldn't have even known. So I'm hoping they're not going to keep playing this. We can't trust each other.
Weird, yeah, because Chris Harris likes the SEX guys or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, so Saturn and Credible win the match. Was it a number one contender, or was it just a match of a bunch of guys? I think
it was just a match with a bunch of guys.
Okay, so at least I still think it was silly that they won. I still should have been AMW. Yeah. But anyway, I believe we go backstage.
Yeah.
Yes, I know exactly what this promo is. Ugh.
This was hilarious because they had to do a production change mid promo. So Goldie's backstage with SEX talking to Glenn Gilberti, and I notice in the background are the Harris brothers who just were in the ring.
Yeah,
wearing completely different outfits and not sweating or anything. So that threw me off. Eventually, like halfway through the promo, they shoved up like earlier today Sharon that they did for like Jarrett when he came in. So they probably were just in the truck going like, "Oh, guys, we just switched back from them walking back." I don't even remember what this was about.
It was about.
Raven.
It was about Raven. And the extreme guys, New Jack and Sandman and all those guys. Yep.
Yeah, they all got into each other's face and were babbling, and Glenn said he wasn't above hitting a woman. And is Raven still part of SEX, even though he really wasn't? He was just kind of more adjacent the whole time anyway. So that's kind of the story, is that the extreme group is looking for Raven and Sex is looking for Raven. The only thing is, at this point, I'm like, is Jarrett going to win and go with them? Because I figured that Raven has really doesn't have anything to do with these guys.
No. We don't see him with those guys much either. So
no, there was just a couple times where he was just hanging out in the locker room. And then they did a quick intro with Jerry Lynn saying that every single time someone has something to prove, they try to step up to Jerry Lynn. Last time it was Ron Killings, who just didn't interfere in the match with Amazing Red. So he's done being a stone, and he's going to be a little bit more aggressive going forward.
Yeah. These promos are just getting just nauseating. Like the fact that the first thing that Glenn Gilberti says is, "I have no problem hitting a woman." Mm-hmm. Like, what, are we past this by now? I mean, seriously? It's one thing to like.
Well, Goldilocks cracked me up because she was wearing the world's smallest cowboy hat, and it just didn't fit her hair.
No, I agree. It looked like it looked like the Kurt Angle hat from 2001.
Yes. Yeah. I was trying to place it. That's a perfect analogy.
It looks like the Kurt Angle yippee yippee ki-yay. You look like a jackass. It was just. But I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like these promos are just getting disgraceful now. This whole storyline sucks. Why didn't they realize? And this is the problem. And I feel like this is a problem. I feel like we talk about this with every episode. And I understand that it won't really change for a couple of years. I mean, it gets a little better it's okay in 04 and it gets better in 05, but really by 06, even into 07 is when it really starts to kick in. But if you're watching this show and you're looking at this roster, the first thing you're saying to yourself is, these guys are all losers. I mean, they were losers in other promotions.
Yes, especially at this point.
Yeah, these guys are all like
Low-Key and Elix Skipper weren't there in the background. Right. So it was just Chris Daniels and a bunch of losers from WCW.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of sad when a mid-card guy with a goofy gimmick in WCW is your voice of reason, and you're like, since when are we taking? I mean, I still think when are we taking Glenn Gilberti seriously? Yeah. I know I say that all the time, and I understand. You have to have guys on your roster. I get it, but this, I mean, there's nobody else. The worst thing that happened was Russo leaving camera.
Mm-hmm.
That was just kind of like out of left field. Because he was kind of
field, but there was he would be in 4 or 5 segments when he was there. So it's just hey, if he's going to be in one segment, then okay. But yeah, there's just nobody in this group right now that's worth anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know. But that my other point is though, regardless of the roster, that line just disgusted me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's because it was just dumb to say out loud, but I thought we were past this drivel. Even in the peak of the Attitude Era, nobody actually said, "I'm going to hit a woman."
Mm-hmm.
That never happened. I mean, yeah, Moolah got hit with a guitar by Jarrett. But I mean,
but to argue that Moolah was a wrestler,
right? Exactly.
Most of the people were wrestlers.
They could take a hit like China or Terry. Yeah. They could take a hit from a guy there, even if it's part of the storyline. But this is pretty much Glenn Gilberti telling Goldilocks, I'm not afraid, or I don't have the restraint to maybe hit you. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what the fuck? It's like that whole promo just disgusted me. But in any event, they're trying to build up this SEX Team Extreme. Who are the faces? Who are the heels? It really made no sense. I feel like if they had just, and we'll talk about this when we get to the main event. I feel like, Steve, if they had just stuck with, Jarrett and Raven, you could probably make something halfway decent out of that. But you got these two faction of clowns, and I don't know what the focus is. Is it on which side Raven's going to join? Is he going to join SEX because he's anti-Jarrett, or is he going to join Extreme because those are all his cronies? And I say to myself, why would Raven want to join either of these losers? I mean, I don't know. Anyway, that promo just pissed me off because I just didn't like the whole, I have no problem hitting a woman. And we're not talking about hitting, Destiny or not Destiny, Trinity, or, a woman that could take a shot from somebody. We're talking about Goldilocks. It's just, I don't know. It's just ridiculous. It was ridiculous. I thought of you because I knew you were going to be pissed when I heard that.
And they just, every few episodes, it's just...
come on, Vince.
Someone's threatening to hit Goldilocks. Like, she should sue for workers' comp at this point.
Yeah, I know, right? She's gone through so much this first, almost year plus, or just under a year of this bullshit in terms of, getting treated badly, and it's just a mess. But anyway, I digress. We've belabored that point enough. Anyway, next, what do we got?
Now we have the possibly more aggressive Jerry Lynn taking on Christopher Daniels. There was a super quick promo between the two of them, and it took me a while to figure out what it was they're saying. Basically, if Daniels wins next week, he, Elix Skipper, and Loki get to take on Red and Lynn for the belts 3-on-2. But if Lynn wins, then he and Red go 2-on-1 against a member of Triple X of their choice. So back and forth they went. Daniels, this is great. This is a really good match. I'll say this. It was just hard to keep up with.
Well, Jerry Lynn did say there was a promo with him where Jerry Lynn was saying, "I'm tired of being everybody's punching bag. Yeah. I'm a stepping stone. Everybody thinks that I'm not tough enough, that I'm not being mean enough." In other words, saying, you're a shitty baby face. It's pretty much what he's trying to say. And that you're going to see a different Jerry Lynn tonight against Christopher Daniels. That was the one promo he did.
And so he didn't really show it until the very end. He gave a drop kick to the back of the head of Daniels when he was trying to skin the cat, and then followed with a dive. Daniels did a standing moonsault, and like I said, at this point, I didn't see any difference in his attitude. But towards the end, he kind of did a double leg and started pounding away with fists onto Daniels. Christopher Daniels ended up doing some movie called Fall from Grace, which I couldn't even explain it. It looked like he was going to do a Tower of London from Nigel McGuinness, but then kind of flipped him over his shoulder. And it was pretty sweet. And then went for the best moonsault ever, but landed on his feet. Lynn gave him a TKO. Daniels throws down the ref because every match has to have a ref bump of some sort. This is beginning to be a pattern that's pissing me off. Every match is a ref bump or pull the ref out of the ring. I think every match last episode did too. And then when Daniels threw out down the ref, Jerry Lynn gave Daniels a low blow and then rolled him up for a win. So a little bit of surprise cheating by Jerry Lynn.
Yep.
But that means, if I understand right, that Lynn and Red will take on one member of Triple X next week for the titles. And my guess is that it will be Christopher Daniels, because Loki and Skipper weren't in the locker room of SCX.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it seems to make sense to me. Wow. Seeing 03 Daniels is just weird.
He looks so good. He's in his 50s now. He doesn't wrestle anymore, but he's, I believe, in his mid 50s actually at this point. Let's see. Yeah, he is. Yeah, 56 he just turned. So this was crazy. 03, 23 years ago. He was already in his 30s at this point.
That's crazy. But he just looks so young. It was crazy. It was actually
first match had a cage match rating of 5.58. This is a spoiler, the best rated episode that perhaps we've ever seen. This one match was 7 even.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it was really good. It was really good. You got two guys that are studs. And I like Jerry Lynn being a little pissed off and adding some aggression. I was cool with that too. What are your thoughts overall? I know obviously Kid Kash is champ. We do have a title. We do have an X Division title shot. To this point, Steve, and we're less than a year, because obviously June will be a year. Has the X Division grown the way you thought it should have grown by this point?
That's interesting considering this show. I think this show, yes, because you have the tag team championship is held by X Division guys, and you're going to have a feud for the tag team championship between X Division guys. Then you had an X Division title match on this show, And then there was a separate X Division match, an elimination match we're going to see later. So it took a big focus. But for them lately, it feels like there's only been maybe one or two times. But they're starting to bring in new guys. We'll talk about a little bit. Like Sabin is going to be a stalwart of TNA for years to come. They've brought in Jimmy Rave again. I can't remember if I think he was in for a couple matches, but the way they made it seem was that he was going to be around for a while. I'm just trying to go back here and see. Maybe not. Like he's working both Ring of Honor and TNA at this time. No, he's not really in. So I guess we're going to see like Shark Boy is there now, who like doesn't really fit the X Division style at all, in my opinion.
No, that's true. That's true. I mean, yeah, AJ's in a weird spot because he's like all things to all people.
Yeah, he'll fit in anywhere. Like,
yeah, and obviously, that's the guy that's probably keeping butts in the seats almost at this point. Mm-hmm. So anyway, Jerry Lynn gets the win with a little chicanery, which we haven't seen out of Jerry Lynn since the late 90s feud with RVD, probably. Well, no, Jerry Lynn was a face, I guess, in that. So, yeah, kind of crazy. But a good win for Jerry Lynn.
Yeah, and they did just a real quick video of the Extreme Brotherhood. That's what they're calling the whole group.
Extreme Brotherhood. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, they did a face-to-face like with Disco. Nobody can find Raven. I don't even remember what that was. Doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
They went right into the next match, though, which was Siaki and David Young with Desire from SEX. And against the makeshift team of AJ Styles and D'Lo Brown. And
I like that, actually.
Yeah.
I actually was surprised.
I wondered if I missed something.
I don't think so.
That like they were like they got together. Maybe they're in a 6-man or something before. I mean, they're both faces and they're both competing for, the heavyweight title. So it makes sense they're in this position together. But yeah, this was a fun match. AJ and
it really
D'Lo
was
won. I was not expecting the double teams that they pulled off together.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, they did one like right away where they threw one of the, I think it was like Siaki into the rope and AJ drop kicked him, and then D'Lo came off the top rope with a clothesline like right after that. AJ did a top rope Hurricane Rana to D'Lo Brown, who when he did the somersault off, like landed in a senton, like a swanton onto Young. And like they were just dominating the whole thing. They did like butchered an inverted DDT, like AJ's move where he does the backflip.
Right.
Finally, after several minutes, David Young interfered in the match, and Siaki did a half and half suplex. They tried to get a hot tag. They got cut off, but they got it the second time to D'Lo. But David Young first hits his spine buster, the best spine buster that ever existed. They did call David Young the master of the spine buster. Sorry, Arn. AJ made the save on that.
I chuckled when I heard it. I chuckled. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we should make a list of like the amount of people who have better spine busters than like Arn's the best. Like Hobbs, Powerhouse Hobbs is really good. David Young, not close.
No, absolutely.
Yeah,
not.
all four guys came down, and then they did a low down neck breaker combo where, or maybe it's called the Sky High, whatever it is, where D'Lo does that power bomb, but AJ leapt up and caught him and did a neck breaker. I thought that should have been the finish right there. D'Lo tells AJ to jump onto the floor, and he does a springboard shooting star press to the floor, which was insane. Siaki runs into Desire, and D'Lo does a back body drop, and AJ catches him in the Styles Clash, hits a Styles Clash. Then D'Lo goes up to the top, does his low down frog splash, and they get the win. and a like surprisingly spectacular match, because I actually put, when David Young and Siaki came out, I put in my notes, LOL, these guys.
Yeah.
And yeah, they just let AJ and D'Lo come up with some original stuff and got the win in 9 minutes.
I will say this. I considering the rest of the roster, I will say D'Lo has been a refreshing addition.
Mm-hmm.
And he hit a glass ceiling in WWE. We all know that, and this is a good spot for him. AJ just right now, it's almost like Benoit and Eddie and Dean and those guys in the early mid '90s, where you don't know what the fuck to do with them, but throw them in a 15-minute window and let them go nuts. And that's exactly what happened. That's what AJ is right now. It's almost like he's kind of gluing the company together by being all things to all people. We don't know where his standing is at the moment. He's not really a face. He's not really a heel. I guess right now he's a face.
Right.
But we don't know what Jeff Jarrett is. We don't know what Raven is. That's troublesome when you're trying to kind of fortify some kind of main event picture when you can't have an entire roster of where do they stand? I mean, you can't have 50 guys not knowing where they stand, which is sometimes what I feel right now. You're either in SCX or you're just floating aimlessly. It's very strange. Having said that, you could tell definitely, Steve, that with the main event tonight, they really wanted to load this show up almost like a pay-per-view.
Yeah, very much.
I mean, you could say this almost feels like an old school in your house,
mm-hmm.
where you've got a bona fide main event and then maybe a good undercard match, which we'll get to in a little bit, and then a bunch of guys just entertaining you.
And very, very little talking for them.
Yes.
No in-ring talking segment. Even the one we're about to talk about now, where they always do the backstage with Mike Tenay, at least that one was short.
Yes. Yep. So AJ and D'Lo get the win in a really fun match. Very fun match.
I wish we had I'm sure Meltzer has these somewhere, but I wish we had buy rates for all these. That'd be cool to see.
Are they not on Cage Match?
No, they're not on there at all, which is surprising. That's why I wonder if they're just not that accurate.
I'm sure that one didn't do too bad.
Let's see ratings. Or is that just match rating? Oh no, that's just seeing if I can find. No, it doesn't look like it. But yeah, that'd be because clearly, like you said, that they loaded this. They loaded this up for this is their biggest show they've ever had.
Exactly. They're totally treating this almost like an in your house, almost like a pay-per-view for them.
Right.
Well, it is a pay-per-view, but like an actual pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've got your main event, you've got a really good, conceivably hot mid-card match coming up in a little bit, and then you've got a bunch of matches with guys. If you had nothing else for AJ to do, this was actually pretty smart. To put him in a tag with another experienced guy against two guys that'll make him look good. Everybody just looked on in that match. Everybody's got I have to say, even that clusterfuck of meat in the opener, everybody does have their working boots on tonight.
And they did a lot of little in-screen promos tonight. And at the beginning, AJ pretty much said, whoever wins doesn't matter. I'm coming for your belt too. So they established what he wanted to do.
He did say that. Yep. So, all right. So great match. One of the better ones. Search it out if you can. It's actually one of the better tag matches we've had in this early 03, I guess. So.
All right. So then we go backstage earlier in the day. Mike Tenay is with Conan and Ron Killings.
I fucking hated this too.
They just keep trying to go back to this. They did at the beginning of TNA 2, around the 10th episode, where they're just trying, and then they've done it with Conan a number of times. And Conan and R-Truth, talking about, hey, we keep getting these speed bumps, and they keep getting bigger and bigger, and they actually have a lot in common. And they forget until the end to be like, well, R-Truth was, I'll just call him R-Truth. It's easier.
Yeah.
Ron Killings, was the heavyweight champion. And both have, over the last few weeks has kind of stood back and watched and didn't like what they saw. And he's like, there's, there might be black wrestlers. There's not many, but there's no black people running in the back. There's no black announcers anywhere in wrestling. And that was the one funny part. Mike Tenay said, what are you talking about? How about the coach? And Drew said, I said black. I was like, oh, so they're saying they're gonna be together, and they're gonna bring the streets to the ring. And that was just like, this just feels like Vince Russo. Like here, it would happen. It's probably the fourth time it's happened. The last time with Conan, it was the X Division people are doing luchador stuff, and that's racist, and that just kind of went away with him respecting Jerry Lynn at the end and doing some color comment. Yeah, it's strange, and I don't think this goes anywhere too, because doesn't it turn into 3 Live Crew at some point with the Road Dogg?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, just very weird.
Yeah, and then we see some woman trying to get into the dancing cage, and I believe it ends up being Tracy Brooks.
Yeah, that's totally Tracy Brooks. Yeah.
Yeah. They do a quick backstage segment with Raven in his little like dark corner, and he's just saying really nothing. He's just like, the belt is everything for him. It's everything Double J cherishes. And then he's like playing with candle wax like he's a freaking 13-year-old girl.
So weird.
It is so weird.
Not as bad. We get to a promo later that's just really embarrassingly bad, but we'll get to that. But all right. So out of that, I believe we go back to the ring.
Yeah, this is a quick 4-way elimination match between Jason Cross, that's the one move doof guy who can just do like the shooting star leg drop or whatever it is.
I would love it. Oh, Steve, we're on
the
a
one
roll
move.
tonight.
He is.
I want a shirt that says one move doof.
And like every time he comes out, they'll say like, what is it called? Like the Crossroads or something like that. They just said he's got that amazing cross move, and that's all he's known for is his move. That he could do a flip and land on his butt. And then Shark Boy, Jimmy Rave, and Chris Sabin. So this is just nonstop, no pun intended. Rave has been a heel the whole time that he has been in Ring of Honor, but here he seems to be a face.
Right.
Cross, we haven't really seen him in a bit. Rave got a lot of shine on the top, and that was because he got eliminated by Shark Boy with his stunner move, which is kind of a rolling stunner out of the corner. And that was just in 2 minutes and 45 seconds. So that's why Jimmy got so much at the beginning. Chris Sabin comes in. Just everyone's on the outside, and Sabin tried to do a running springboard where he caught the top rope and then jumped off, and he just nicked the end of the rope. Didn't get his footing, just almost murdered himself on the floor. Luckily, that Cross dude did a flip over the top right away because the crowd was just starting to chant like, you fucked up. But Cross came in like immediately to like make them forget. So glad Sabin was okay. Chris Sabin, only 21, they said.
Wow.
Talk about a guy that's been around forever. He's only 44. Like, he's still competing in WWE.
He's still in great shape too.
And he's still in great shape. Yeah, so he's only 21 here.
Is Shelley older than him?
Yes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Makes sense. Yeah, Raven had already been eliminated at this point. Cross and Shark Boy are kind of just wrestling around for a little bit just to get Sabin some time to recover. Sabin's holding his shoulder. I just don't know that he's selling. But this was my favorite part. When I was joking too earlier on in the show, where they said that this was sold out, which I do believe. I do believe that this was sold out, but that they turned over 1,000 people away. It's such an old school, like early 1980s thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You imagine like 1,000 people lined up.
I don't think there's 1,000 people in
city blocks.
Yeah, I don't think there's 1,000 people in that area right now.
Yeah, to see Glenn Gilberti.
Yes, hit a woman. Yeah, no, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, Cross tried that move, and Saban hit his future shock to eliminate him, and then let's see who's left. Yeah, Shark, and then he rolled through, hit a catatonic on Shark Boy, and did a future shock again on Shark Boy for the win in 8:15. So, despite the kind of botch from Chris Saban on a very, very difficult move,
right?
This was a way to get him some shine, putting him over Jason Cross and Shark Boy.
Yep. So yeah, fun little match. Again, emphasizing the X division. A match that again seems like a match to emphasize the division. Almost like if you haven't gotten a pay-per-view yet from us, this is kind of how we do things.
Mm-hmm.
Not really a reboot, but almost like a re-reminding of, for those of you that haven't watched this, maybe that's kind of why they haven't done a lot of, except for the SEX stuff, that they haven't done a lot of backstage stuff, because maybe they're assuming, because this is like a big show that they probably pumped up in a lot of places, that maybe new viewers are watching.
Yeah, I think so. But like, the question is, why don't they do this more often?
That is true.
I think this is like, hey, this is what is going to sell. Then, let's cut back a little bit on some of that talking and some of the backstage stuff, which is, fairly embarrassing, and go more with, constant flow.
Right.
Because let's see, I'm going to do some quick math here. 15, 24, 32, 41. Yeah, we had an hour of match time out of an hour 50 show. That doesn't mean 50 minutes of talking, because that doesn't include like intros and stuff like that.
Right, exactly.
And they had a lot of video packages for the main event, but that's understandable because this is the biggest match that they've had.
Right.
That they've been working to for months.
And 1,000 people can't watch it.
No, I know, right? They should have gone outdoors or something.
They should have had like a closed circuit. God.
Yes, they should have. You're right.
Probably not enough electricity. Probably no electricity on the property. But that was a fun match, and again, I think it's emphasizing the X division as it's slowly building. I mean, we do have to take into account that this is the first year. They're still in year one technically, so they've definitely focused on tag and X division. They've definitely done a smart job with that. They have exposed the fact that the backstage is shit. The backstage promos and stuff is garbage, but the in-ring is pretty good. I mean, you could argue, I just watched the entire year of both of Raws, SmackDowns, and the pay-per-views in 2003.
Mm-hmm.
And I contend that some of the in-ring in TNA is comparable to Raw. I think SmackDown, obviously, in 03 was 100 times better. But that changed in 04 when, after Voldemort there won the Rumble. I think the dichotomy, because I'm in 04 right now, and neither show is very good. It's very weird how the roster got so thin so fast, but maybe it's just a building to some of the younger guys, but I'm not that I'm changing the subject. My point is, in-ring, in certain cases, TNA actually is not that bad right now. The problem is not necessarily the work rate of a lot of the guys, it's just some of them are just not good promo guys, and some guys are just not main event level. And they're fighting to main event level them, which I think is why Jarrett's the champion, why someone like Raven, who's got cred, is the number one contender. They're not that stupid. Because there is a guy that we've seen over the last few weeks that when he was Rookie of the Year in 1992, was supposed to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. And that was only because his dad was the fucking GM or the VP or whatever. Are we at that promo yet?
Yes, that's where we're at right now.
Thank you.
Good
All right.
I had no idea what this was, and neither did
I don't
Dusty
either.
Rhodes. So Eric Watts is back with Goldilocks. He's away from, that worst ever stable with Brian Lawler and David Flair.
But now
losers. He's just like this, like portraying some sort of just drug-addled loser.
Yeah, it's sad.
But trying to play off that he's smarter than he is, but no one's buying it. So he's got this Chicago Bears visor on, and he thinks that he's with Jeff Jarrett, and he's got a whole shopping cart full of trash cans that he's going to bring out for the match as an equalizer, even though we never see it again. And then Dusty Rhodes comes into the screen. Eric Watts gives him back the belt that they were fighting for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And the only thing that was funny about this was Dusty saying that he sees a line of bullshit so long that people can't help but step in it. This is man, what a Dustyism. But,
yes.
Yeah, I don't know what the point of this is. What is this setting up? Is it setting up Eric Watts and Jeff Jarrett to be in a feud?
Is it setting up Watts to try to turn babyface, which would be unwatchably
that's not going to work.
No, that's unwatchably dreadful. I don't know, but this was I don't know what the hell this was, but even Dusty, I think, is why am I working with this loser? You're not. I'm not elevating Eric Watts. He's lowering me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't understand, and I remember Rotel and I are watching it. Was watching it. He started from the beginning, and he's watching them, and he's only an episode behind us. But
wow, slow down.
He's well, he watches every other day, unlike us, who it seems like we watch every other month.
Yes,
but anyway, which we technically I think we do. But anyway, the premise of those three guys being we're legacy guys. Yeah, your dads were all, pretty good. They were all main eventers. You guys are all fucking losers. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if they're spinning things, but Eric Watts did look like a guy who just did a total speedball and not Mike Bailey, but he was, I don't know what the fuck that was, but absolute degenerate that nobody cares about.
But here's the opposite of that. The opposite of degenerates. We get a quick recap of the X Division feud with Amazing Red beating Jerry Lynn due to Ron Killing's interference, and then Kash backstage with Goldilocks saying that he told Trinity to stay home because he still, quote, owns her. So we get Red versus Kash for the X Division title. And right away, there's a feeling out process back and forth. No one's at ringside. It's just the two of them.
Uh-huh.
Red hits a tope con hilo, but misses, but he landed on his feet on the floor. So Kid Kash did that smash mouth move where he just chucks a chair into the guy's face, which is terrifying. Kash is this beautiful top rope clothesline where he hung on the whole time that then put him into a pinning position. Kid Kash is, much bigger than Red, so he's doing a lot of power stuff, like Boston Crab into a power bomb, which was fun. Uh-huh. Every time that Red tried to come back, he'd hit a power move. They did an exchange of pins, and Red got out. It was a little sloppy, the exchange of pins, but Red got up and did a cartwheel kick, and finally Red gets in control. Does a code Red springboard. It was a great 4-sequence move. Did a code Red.
Yes.
A springboard drop kick to the back of his head, which set him up for a 619 perfectly. And then as he fell down, he did a springboard into a Macho Man elbow all in a row. It was just go, 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 go. And let's see, I don't know who did a double springboard flip. I think it was Kid Kash. And of course, he knocked out the ref because you got to do that again in every skill match.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially a title match. Then they were just doing it like back and forth, trying to get each other into a move or try to get each other into a pin. And then once again, the effing mystery luchador comes in, which is like this has been going on since the Conan feud. Smacks Kid Kash. Red gets on top of him for the 3, but the ref doesn't realize that the luchador has come in and takes about 20 seconds. So it makes Kash look like a total loser that he lost to like some reverse DDT. So Red becomes the champion. And then that luchador ended up doing the same reverse DDT to Amazing Red. Did you think that was Trinity? That was the... I thought it was
Trinity. It was definitely a woman.
Uh-huh.
But why would she hit Amazing Red? Because she wants the belt?
Yeah, because for sure I thought, oh yeah, that's going to be Trinity. She's costing him the belt. That makes total sense. Then she should have just run off. But yeah, then doing it to Red kind of surprised me. I guess, like you said, is she going to try for the belt as well?
Yeah, I was... that perplexed me. Like I wasn't sure why was she going after him? And the pinfall was, I didn't even know what the fuck happened at first. It was a complete mess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the hell happened. Did the pin happen? Because it was all over the place. It was very nondescript. Like the pin happened, but I thought, based on how Red kind of rolled off, I thought Kid Kash kicked out.
I thought they should have and just gone to something else, because it was supposed to be that DDT and then Red quick covers him.
Right.
But the ref was so far out of position that I had no idea. Like someone should have smartened the ref up.
Yeah. It just seemed so weird. Like I didn't understand the pinfall. Like I didn't know what actually happened. Like I didn't know. It was very weird. Having said that, the match was really good. I'm glad we have a new champion. And I think the X division really shined on this day. And I have to say that other than that whacked out promo earlier with Gilberti, in terms of in-ring, Steve, this definitely might be one of the most balanced cards we've ever gotten of the 43 episodes. Nothing's really been terrible. Even that meat slap fest in the beginning wasn't. It could have been worse.
Right.
I just didn't like who won. I thought Credible and Perry winning was stupid, but every match had something attached to it. I did really like that AJ and I know we're doing the recap now. We still have one match left, but this is just another example of how we had a good boost. We get a title change. Amazing Red is your new X Division champion. He's earned it. He's had 3 shots already, and something seems to happen every time. I was very impressed, and great match. It definitely was a woman, and
yeah, well, I guess
I like to think it was Trinity.
She fits. She fits in the storyline. She's been involved in the storyline for a long time. Like, if you're getting over X Division, could be No Limit. She would be the only woman in the promotion who could pull something off. Because, as we said, she's kind of a Lita knockoff,
right?
So yeah, we'll see where we go from here.
No, we'll see where we go from here. I'm curious.
Red and who am I going to say? Jerry Lynn's still the tag team champions together.
Right. Yep. And I believe they defend the belts next week. So, okay. We're almost there. We're almost to the big one.
So, yeah, they asked a bunch of the wrestlers who they thought would win. No one really said anything. Tracy Brooks came out again, pulled Lollipop out, and Lollipop tried to cut a promo against her, said that she can fight as well as dance. So Brooks came to the ring, and they just kind of did like a roll around, pull apart. Absolutely nothing. It was pretty trash. didn't need to see it at all. Hopefully
Right.
that doesn't go anywhere and they just write it off.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But the build has been good, multiple weeks, and now we have finally arrived.
Yeah, we have multiple video packages, so nothing really to go over there. They did say that next episode there's going to be a gauntlet for gold, which is kind of like a Royal Rumble, only you can get it eliminated by pins as well. But they're calling it the Anarchy in the Asylum, which means anything goes and pinfalls can count anywhere. And whoever wins that will be the number one contender. But yeah, Raven is out. I'm actually a little excited for this when I was watching it. Because
yeah, me too.
I had not been spoiled. I honestly did not know who was going to win. Like I never looked ahead, and it just, one of the reasons we watch this is because it's new. It's new to us.
Right.
So yeah, Raven is out with Julio De Niro and Alexis. My over and under on rough bumps I said was 2. Kind of mixed reactions to both. Jarrett comes out. It felt like both were getting booed, actually, which made me think like, oh, there might be other guys for the title that they should look for. They think that Raven's going to brawl, but at first he tries to trick Jarrett with some wrestling. Jarrett then with more fighting style, throwing Raven into the barriers. Lots of interference in this one from Julio and I almost said Mickey James, but Alexis Lurie. Julio came in with a chair and missed and hit Raven. Yep. Jarrett took both of them off. Raven tried to do like a plancha over the top and kind of hits Jeff Jarrett and hits his own groin in the process. Raven got busted open for some reason. I think it was from the chair from Julio De Niro. You clearly see him on camera take out the blade that he cut himself with and hand it to Jeff Jarrett, which is disgusting that they both bladed with the same razor. Because Jeff Jarrett bladed. I don't know if you saw that. Like you saw him take it out of his tape and hand it to Jarrett.
I actually missed that, but
yeah, Jarrett busted open after getting the drop toe hold into the stairs, and then they did it again in the ring with the chair. I wrote at this point, like, why are they doing the distracted ref stuff? Because clearly he doesn't care when people are getting hit in the ring with chairs. So why is like Lurie distracting the ref and having Julio interfere? At this point, like, this is a fairly long match for them, and I'm just like, okay, let's get to the interference and the rough bump. Raven just kind of grinding down Jarrett at this point with submission moves. Jarrett comes back with one of the worst RKOs you've ever seen. Both are down. Jeff Jarrett kind of hulks up and takes out everybody with kicks. Just total aside, I have the Spurs game on right now. And Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez are in the front row. It's it's on ESPN, so they got the little WrestleMania plug. And Liv Morgan's out there with her huge, massive
knot on her forehead. Yeah,
she's trying to hide it with makeup and like wearing a thick pair of glasses. But yeah, it's disgusting.
Yeah, she got smoked the other night on Raw.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I saw the bump. Whew.
Yeah. Whew.
So yeah, Jarrett comes back, takes out everyone with drop kicks. Raven hit a super kick. And then we got an exchange of finishing moves, like with the stroke and the Raven effect. Both tumble over the top rope. Jarrett bites Julio De Niro off and does a second rope elbow through the table. Jarrett does a DDT. They pull the ref out of the ring. So the ref tosses both Julio and Alexis. And what do you know? The ref goes down. And now it goes crazy. So, yeah, what do you think of the actual match part of it before we get all the craziness?
I didn't hate it. I thought the match was. I thought it was about as sloppy as kind of. It was. It didn't surprise me. It was about what I expected it. The crowd was into it.
Yes.
So I will say that. So, those consistently that have been going to the building, finally got some kind of a payoff. Mm-hmm. I knew obviously in the long run I knew he didn't, but deep down, I wonder if Raven should have won.
I thought he was going to win.
Right.
That's what I figured it was going to happen. But yeah, not at this point. So yeah, it was kind of like a big, regular main event, only a little bloodier, and you knew the ref bump was coming, and it was just a matter of what the chaos was going to come. And boy, here came the chaos. So SEX comes out, which was expected, mostly the Harris brothers, I think. So the Disciples of Church came out to fight them off, and they made a point of saying, like, well, we're sure he's not helping Jeff Jarrett. They're just there to continue the fight from before.
Right.
Extreme Revolution comes in, who are there to help Raven, and they just destroy Jarrett. Each of them take turns with weapons, and they handcuff Jarrett behind his back. I thought this move was really fun when they put the chairs up and they double super kicked the chairs like a concerto.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was kind of a fun move, and Jarrett couldn't block it. Then all of a sudden, all the lights go off just as Extreme Revolution is about to leave. And you're like, all right, who's coming out now?
Oh, boy.
And it's Sabu, who we saw, I believe. Didn't we see him before? Or is this his first appearance?
I feel like we saw him once.
Yeah, I feel like we did. He wasn't a regular, but Sabu came in and just did Sabu things. He went, set up, he took out all of the Extreme Revolution, because you think like, oh, is he with Raven? No, he goes after Raven with a jump off a chair, and then he does like his double jump springboard off onto everybody, and he jumped over. Did you see him jump over the barrier and knock all the fans over?
Yes, I did.
It knocked some like large woman over, and was like, knew he had to get away, but also, didn't want to be a jerk, and was, checking on her as well. Now the ref at this point, there's been 2 tag teams that came out, 4 ECW wrestlers with all sorts of different plunder. You have the lights go out, Sabu come in, murder everybody. Ref still has no idea, he's still dead. So Raven gets up, and takes a chair, does the whole second Kurt Angle reference of the night, hits the rope and hits him on the back wash chair.
Yes.
Only 2. Somehow the ref got the key. They said Bill Barons came out and gave the ref the key, but the ref, see, this is where it goes south. The ending was not good. The ref couldn't open the handcuffs, so Raven had to take the keys from him and open the handcuffs himself, and the announcers had to cover like, he must want to try to finish him off like without the handcuffs. Raven, in fact, is hit after the cuffs are free. That only got a 2, and then Jeff Jarrett got up from it and hit the stroke and hit 3, and that's it. Jarrett retains in just chaotic match, and Dusty Rhodes comes out to celebrate, and they go off the air. So 5 consecutive matches on Cage Match ranked 7 or above. The tag match with AJ was 753, the elimination match 775, X Division match 777, and in what might be like the highest rated main event ever that's not X Division, 752 on Jarrett Raven. I wish Meltzer would have rated this one.
Yeah, I know. So to answer your question, Sabu wrestled on the July 17th 02 episode. He fought Malice in a ladder match.
Oh yeah, Malice.
Then the following week he faced Shamrock in a ladder match, and that ended in a no contest. And then he disappeared until now. So, I believe he's here for a while though, because I think he's here until, well, he gets hurt in the summer of 04.
Oh, that's right. He does all the stuff with Abyss for a long time too.
Yeah, he gets hurt in the summer of 04, comes back in July of 05, and lasts until looks like April of 06.
I feel like he did stuff with Jeff Hardy too. Once he comes in.
He feuded with Rhino.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's in and out of TNA. until 06, and then 06 he signs with WWE when they start WWE CW. So he's here for a while, except for when he gets hurt or gets arrested for drugs. That also happens. So when does that happen? I know it happens at some point. He gets arrested for. Oh no, that's it. That's in WWE in 06 with RVD. Summer of 06. He is arrested, charged with paraphernalia and Vicodin on Route 52 in Hanging Rock, Ohio.
Sheesh.
Towards the end of July. When does he leave? He leaves in May of 07. And then he bounces around. He goes to Juggalo. I know we're not talking about Sabu, but anyway. Point is, he's here for a little bit. He's here for a while. On and off until 06. So we'll have him for a little bit. Interesting. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I give this episode an 8.5.
Yeah, I give it 7.5 to 8.
It was really good. The in-ring was great. It was probably just in terms of the ring, probably the best episode so far.
Yeah. They had that one, one of the first ones, they had that gauntlet for the gold that lasted an hour. That was really fun.
Yep.
But this is straight wrestling. And they blew off some few, they blew off the Kid Kash, Red and Jerry feud. Will probably blow off. That will lead to Trinity versus Kid Kash blow off.
Right.
We're starting, I don't really care for the stable warfare because I don't like the stables that are involved outside of AMW.
Right.
But hopefully they're increasing the amount of people in the X division. And I don't know what it's like going forward. The cage match ratings don't look the best, but that's all I'm looking at. I'm not looking ahead besides that. I can give you the explosion. Oh, no, they're one. Hold on one second. They're always a week. I don't know. Yeah, let's see. 4:30. Oh, okay. Yeah, they were. Okay, these are ones that they had Mike Awesome defeat Cliff Compton. Mike Awesome, if you remember, is part of the church, I believe, still. And then Conan and Ron Killings defeat your favorite wrestlers, Brandon P. and Jay Freeze.
P and Freeze. Yeah. Cliff Compton. Wow. Yep. Was he 20?
24.
Wow.
Yeah, this is before WWE.
Wow. That's crazy. So there it is. There is your special archive tonight here on the main event. Our next archive, which will be in, I guess, 3 weeks, we will go back the other way to I believe we are on the October 30th, 2019 episode. I think it's the October 30th, 2019 episode of AEW Dynamite as we're on the road to the inaugural Full Gear. And Chris Jericho defending the AEW title against Cody. Weird saying both those names. Well, maybe that's Jericho. Very weird. With his babyface, half heel, half face friend, MJF. God, I don't even remember the rest of that card. Because I remember watching that card live. It's one of the few pay-per-views I've watched live. Few of those pay-per-views I've watched live. I don't remember the rest of the card. Yeah, I don't. I'm looking forward to watching it when we get to it. Steve, you're the best. Thank you. Great show for both of us. I was going to say everybody, but it's just you and I. Again, join us next week. The show will not drop next week. The show will drop on Thursday, which is the 16th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Thursday the 16th. Well, a day early because we want to let we don't want to fall too far behind. Some shows would have already happened by then. But of course, it's our 8th annual Mega Mania preview. Steve and Boogie and I will take you through the whole weekend in Vegas, all the big indie shows, whoever's allowed to wrestle, I guess.
Yeah, at this point.
And of course, we'll give you our picks and preview for the 42nd edition of the Showcase of the Immortals with a night 1 and a pretty banging night 2. So everybody have a great weekend. We'll be back with you next week. For Brother Steve, I'm Brother Scott. You've been in the main event. And again, we'll talk to you in 1 week.
Man, I don't even have to say shut up, Reese. He's not here.
No, and I will never say shut up, Steve.